This is JordanTower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. Okay, so Akademiks vows to not go on the Joe Budden podcast anymore because Mark Lamont Hill back a while back says Akademiks is trash for a million reasons, always has been. I don't understand how or why anybody is cool with him or supports what he's doing. Now he's on the Joe Budden podcast now. And he said this because Akademiks at one point said there's not much difference between a 21 and a 17-year-old as long as they have a college ID. I guess he's talking about of age, making sure, verifying of age, college ID. Usually he doesn't talk like that. I bet it's a little weird to say. I'll be honest, like, why even talk about it? But anyways, he gets twisted a lot and just starts saying stuff. Usually when he's sober, he doesn't talk like that. Mark Lamont Hill, and then Akademiks kept telling him, like, yo, we can meet up wherever you want. We could fight, da-da-da-da. Okay, remember that? Yeah, so anyways. Mark Lamont Hill recently spoke about it, I think, on Twitter Spaces. And he was talking about, like, I have no problem with him. That shouldn't stop him from coming up to the podcast. I got no problem with him. We're just two guys trying to make it. I don't know where I was in my mind at that time. He was probably at the time when he was, like, getting shifted off BT and all this other stuff. But anyways, he kind of deads it and says Akademiks should just come up. There's no big deal. Then Joe Budden was like, no, F that. We're riding on Ak. He's joking, obviously, but I don't know. And then what I think is having a Joe Budden podcast, there's a lot of people up there now. And there's been little drama. I don't know if he's trying to create the drama for, like, more views or whatever, but Mel's having a lot of issues now where she's saying, she feels like she's ganged up on, especially with this latest Tracee Ellis Ross thing. She was making excuses for this and that, of Tracee Ellis regretting she doesn't have kids or been married, right? Now, Mel took offense to this because she's almost the same age. It's the same situation. But Mel was trying to say, I have too many options. It's overwhelming, Well, you're just never going to be happy because you're going to have so many options, and eventually you're going to have no options. Look at Lisa Ray barely has any options right now. And what's the other one? Vivica Fox. So she's ready to settle down at 60-something years old. Well, slim pickings, I think they're going to lose Mel eventually. Mel is very angry about certain things that are going on up there. Let me see if I can find that part of my phone. She was also on Twitter Spaces airing out Joe Budden. Joe Budden basically said, if you're not happy, you can leave.
I'm not making
you saying a lot of shit that sound real villainous. You are. I'm not making y'all, and they're not going to tell you that. But we shouldn't be looked at as the bad people for, like, all right, Tracee Ellis Ross is not our bag. We don't have any problem with listening. We could listen. You're right. There was some other ways to handle that. I don't think that any of the men in the room should have led that. I don't think that's putting anybody in the best position to.
I literally just said that the guys seemed to have things that they wanted to say and expound on the conversation and questions that they wanted to ask.
I know you said that, but I'm saying something too. I know you said that, but in that room is my judgment call to make. Mm-hmm. So I'm not asking you to gauge the interest of the other men. I'm asking you, do you want to lead this or not?
I took my prior experience of leading the conversations and then feeling like I'm dogpiled on when I express what I have to say, and I decided to flip it this time. I decided to try a different tactic of having a conversation with the guys.
Yes, on Twitter Spaces.
All right, so that's obviously somebody else's page, but
I mean, the very suggestion I made at the start of all of this when I said, Mel, if you have something to say on this, please lead the way. If not, we will skip it.
Well, Mel had this issue kind of with Jason when he was on a podcast with him. She's had these issues. I don't know, I think she's good up there. She's kind of fits in now. I just think that at one point it's all going to blow up because there's so many people that got to get paid. And Joe Budden eventually is going to be like, yo, I got to trim this up, because how long are you going to have so many advertisers? It seems like podcasting is shrinking right now. So we'll have to see. But anyways, this is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.